Hello and welcome back to the Scale Modelling Cafe. My name is Jamie and welcome to this week's update on the, what is it, 21st, 22nd, something like that of October. Right, it's the 21st, isn't it? Because it's Trafalgar Day. So, yeah, happy Trafalgar Day, everybody. May well go and supply some Mayberries later and honour the immortal memory of Admiral Lord Horatio Nelson. What a bally hero. Right, update on the channel. The Airfix Lightning saga goes on. Unfortunately, it appears there's been a problem with production of the new paint. Nothing to do with the formula or anything like that, just kind of logistical type stuff. So, what I've decided to do is I'm going to upload videos on a new project. What I'm going to do is I've had a really long think. Do I go for the Antonov or do I go for something else? And then what I've decided to do is go for this. I'm going to do the Armour Hobby Key 84. I would love to have done the P39, but it's still being shipped and it's going to take another couple of weeks when it arrives at home to get out to me. The reason why I'm going to start a new kit rather than do stuff with the Antonov is that's going to take an awful lot of editing. An awful lot. I've got so much in the can. As you can imagine, all the riveting, all the interior, all that scratch building in the interior, the building of the thing, etc., etc. So what I've decided to do is, as I said, I'll go for a quickie project, smash that one out. That will buy me 4 or 5 weeks worth of project, get that done, and then I can carry on with the Antonov and then hopefully get that finished and in the can, and we'll just see when Ammo can release the new metallic paints, and as soon as they do, I'll upload the Lightning videos and finish that one off. So that is my plan. Therefore, look out on Sunday for part 1 of this, which will be the project introduction. I'm actually really looking forward to doing this. What I'm not looking forward to doing is the riveting, but it won't take too long, I'm sure. Anyway, it'll look fantastic when it's finished. The riveting, that is. I still don't know what colour scheme I'm going to do it. One of two, who knows? So look out for that on Sunday. As I said, we'll just pause the Lightning one for now, and then as soon as I can release that, I will release it, and we'll get that done. And then it'll be the Antonov going out. That's that. Right, I've done another Far Side chat, and this one I've done another, picked some manufacturers and my sort of 2 penneth worth on what kits that those particular manufacturers would be well served by releasing. So in other words, not necessarily my favourite project or my favourite kit that I think is sadly lacking in the range, well, not range, any range, and they just happen to be convenient, so right, why don't they do it? I've had a real think about what these particular manufacturers are known for, and try to pick subjects that are either nobody does, or there are older kits that are getting a bit dated, and these manufacturers would be well served by offering us those, and it fits neatly in their range. So it's kind of things that they're known for, in other words. That's the plan on that. I was going to release that last Wednesday, But effectively Wednesday's like my Friday, because my weekend is Thursday and Friday at the moment. So I'm going to work tomorrow. Yeah, I got carried away with the Friday feeling, frankly, and totally forgot to upload it, even though it was all edited and ready to go. So I'll release that in the week. It'd be great to get your feedback again. The last one seemed really quite popular, which was very nice. Sparked off a really good discussion, and let's hope we can have more of the same on that one. So get involved. That'd be great. Right, talking of the Antonov then, the progress, still in primer, because I've been working on other things. I'll talk about that in a moment. What I have done on the airframe is I've painted the engine, inside of the engine cowling black, and I've drilled 2 holes in the bottom for the exhaust, and I've made the exhaust from some plastic tubing, which I cut to size and then heated it up with a lighter and bent it to shape, and then trimmed it. And yeah, very, very simple, but I think that's going to be really quite cool, actually. So looking forward to seeing how that turns out. So, oh dear, the cocktail stick for the tail wheel has fallen out. I tend to do this, put cocktail sticks in the undercarriage, so it doesn't damage the primer or the paint, ultimately. So that's the state of play with the airframe. The reason why I haven't done anything on that is I've been working on the engines. So I have here 2 Edward Brassin Napier Sabre engines, which are extremely detailed. Loads of resin parts, loads of sort of pipage in resin. I deviated from the instructions a little bit because obviously a lot of the pipes go into the bulkhead, and the bulkhead is going to be sort of floating, if you like, with nothing behind it. So I've modified a few of the pipes there, and where all the wiring goes, because these are actually going to go upside down. So they're going to be mounted inverted and onto the wing, on the upper wings. So I've done them. The firewall is in the like rusty kind of steel patina, which I'm really pleased with. There's other bits of rusty steel in there as well, and a bit of non-rusty steel, and a little bit of colour there with some wiring and some sort of bulkhead thing. And I'm really pleased with how they've turned out. So that's those. What I've been working on today is the Erez Pratt & Whitney 2800, which is really, really involved as well. Really well detailed, lots of parts, and I've done all the wiring for it as well. So I've done an ignition harness. I've added a little bit more detail there. And what's going to happen with with this bad boy is, so what I did is I mounted the casting block from this. I glued it behind the engine mounting thing, drilled a hole in it. I also put a plastic bulkhead further back and drilled a hole in that as well. And as you can see, I've got a long bit of brass tubing, and then that just slots in like that, and it is going to be sticking out the front. And the reason I went for that is, yes, I could have put it in, I could have modified the cowling, and I could have put it in the cowling, but I thought I'm gonna lose something if I do that. And I'm thinking CFG, because the Sabre engines are going to be mounted just in front of, obviously, the main spar on the upper wing, and actually I've cut them back into the wing against the main spar. And I just thought, well, with the extra weight in the tail with the waist gunners, it would be probably handy to put the radial engine sticking out the front just to help balance up that CFG. That was my thought process behind it, and I think it's going to look cool. One thing that did struck me was, obviously this is a big engine, the 2800. It's in the Hellcat and the P47 amongst lots of other things. But when you put it against the Sabre, Napier Sabre, it's about half the size. It makes it look really small. That Sabre engine is an absolute beast. So yeah, so that's what I've been working on all week, was just getting those 3 engines done. And yeah, it did start to get a little bit tedious with the Sabre engines because I was doing 2 of them. But they're all done now. So that's really quite cool. Just put that over there for safekeeping. Right, as I said, I'm going to go on to the Key 84 next. So we're going to have a bit of a pause on this. When I get back to this and the Key 84 is finished, I'm going to paint up and weather the ordnance. So that's the gun pods, the upper turret needs, and that all needs scratch building. Scratch building from scratch. Because there is 0 detail in there. And the waist gunner positions. Get all that painted and weathered. Get the undercarriage, which has all been built, get that painted and weathered. Do the radar. I'm going to mount that on the wing, on the right-hand wing. Or I might put it on the left-hand wing. I don't know yet. One of the wings. That'll go on. Get that all painted and weathered. And there's a satellite dish I want to do. And a few other little greeblies that are going to go on there. Loudspeaker. That kind of thing. A skull. There's a mascot, various bits and pieces. And when all that's done, that's probably a couple of weeks' work, if I'm honest, to get all that done. It'll be on to the final stretch, which will be the painting and weathering of the airframe. And that's the thing I'm really, really looking forward to. And I tend to do this to keep the mojo going. I tend to get the model into primer, and then I'll do the undercarriage, the ordnance, all the dangly bits. Get all that done and out of the way, because I find that sort of last 10% seems to take 50% of the project time. And there's too much risk of the mojo disappearing to thin air once the fun bit of the painting and weathering is done. So I tend to get all that done first, then do the painting and weathering, and then it's just a question of just sticking it all together. So that's the plan of action with the Key 84 and the Antonov. Right, that's that. Modelling news. On to the modelling news. A bit of a quiet week compared to what has been going on in the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. But one new kit has been announced, and that's ClearProp. They're upscaling their 72nd I-16 to 48th. Test shots are already out, so I can imagine that's going to be imminent, and I can imagine them doing all the different variants and things like that, like they're doing with their 72nd scale. Now, ClearProp very kindly have sent me some kits. They did that in August, but it seems to have been lost in the post somewhere. On the parcel tracking, the trail has gone cold in Northern Ireland, so somehow it's gone from Ukraine through the port to Northern Ireland, and it's disappeared. I've rung Royal Mail. They don't know anything about it. I would have thought it would have gone through Royal Mail because it's been sent by the Ukraine Postal Service rather than a courier. So, that's a real shame, because they've sent me some really, really cool kits, which I was hoping to get some sprue tours out straight away and build some of them. So I keep saying so again, don't I? I need to get to the bottom of that. But anyway, ClearProp I-16 and 48 scale. That looks absolutely hoofing. Some of the kits that are imminent or out. So the Armour Hobby, I just mentioned it, the P39, which is coming to me. That will be built quite quickly on the channel. That is being shipped as we speak. When it arrives at home, the missus is going to put it in with a few little bits and pieces for me in a care package, because unfortunately she can't come out before I go home for Christmas. So she's going to send me a shoebox full of really nice things, including the P39. Really looking forward to that. That is going to be with me imminently. That's very exciting. Right, I've mentioned it a few times on the channel. The ICM Key 29, 21, 23, 25. Sally, I forget now, mine's gone blank. In 72nd scale. That is out. That looks really cool. I'm really tempted, but I've got such a big pile over there Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 kits in the stash there. That is nearly a year's worth, which is a nightmare. A few of those are going to go back home because I'm not going to be building them anytime soon. So I've got an Airfix B25 that's going to go back, an Edward Spitfire Mark 9 which I was converting into a C53, and unfortunately the conversion bits don't quite fit on it that I've got. They weren't designed for that kit anyway. That's a real shame. And the Armour Hobby Wildcat, that's going to go back. Obviously, I've relatively recently built one of those. That is going to be done though, and it will be done in a Fleet Air Arm scheme, but not quite yet. So when I go back at Christmas, I'm going to take a few things back with me, which will leave me a few gaps, so I can bring maybe 1 or 2 other things out. That's the plan with that. Right, and the last bit of news is the Tamiya F-35. So a friend of mine, Alan Kelly, he's a great modeler. He's managed to get hold of a white box version. Andy from Andy Hobby's headquarters in America, he's got a production sample. It's an early one. I think he said the American allocation is coming out in, I think he said either November or December. I think perhaps December. So that is quite exciting. My mate Mike Reeves is he of face hanger resins. Let's not fluff my lines on that one. Sorry, Mike. He's got one. I don't know whether that's Andy's, and he's just taken some photographs of it. But he says that the raised ram tapes are not quite as bad as some of the photos would suggest. They're still probably too prominent, but they are way more subtle than those initial pictures look like, which is really good news. And that's really it for the modelling news. No new announcements or anything like that. And that's it. We're pretty much at the end. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit this, and then I'm going to get that up tonight, and then I'm going to go to bed because the alarm goes off at 4:45 in the morning. 2-hour drive to the airfield, and then a couple of flights, and then drive back to 12-hour days. It's hard work actually at the moment, but you know, that's why we get paid the money, I suppose. And I'm looking forward to getting started on this. So like I say, look out for the part 1 of this going up on Sunday, and this will be riveted, yeah, probably on Sunday actually is when I'm going to rivet this, and then we'll start off with the cockpit. There we go. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like I say, keep your eye out on the channel. You can always hit the notification bell, and then you'll know exactly when the new one goes out. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.